trouble everywhere, especially in the economy and the government.
Uh-oh.
What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, November the 9th. And, well, we saw a communist elected in New York last Tuesday. Interesting. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe a anti-Semite was elected in New York, especially with the amount of Jewish population there. But it shows you that the Americans have lost their fucking minds. I don't get it. I can't see it. And the things that he's promising cannot be done. But all right, well, here we go. So you don't think that's a problem. We have the government shutdown, which is not such a problem. But what it really tells a story is that the politicians need to be replaced. We need to have term limits. We need to change the way we do things because at the end of the day, okay, all the political scene is a scam of the Republicans and Democrats stealing from the American people. Okay, it doesn't matter which side of the aisle. This is a bipartisan issue. It doesn't matter who you support. What matters is that we don't really get choice. And we allow these people to destroy our country and take our money building massive amounts of debt. And I think that there's something has to be done. And the only real way to do this is term limits. Okay. And I mean term limits across the board. We can't have 40 and 50-year people in government. Okay. There's no reason for it. There's too much stealing going on. So in the meantime, the economy sucks. We're losing jobs like crazy. Okay. I mean, can you imagine Amazon, between Amazon and UPS, they've laid off over 60,000 employees right before Christmas. Doesn't make sense to me. Uh, I think the realistic assessment of the job market, not good. Okay, look, we haven't had a jobs report in 2 months, but I can tell you the jobs aren't good. Okay, and I can tell you the economy is not as good. Again, it's K-shaped. We talked about this last week. It's K-shaped. The very top of the K, thriving. Okay, which is always the case. Those who have very rarely go through issues that those that are in the middle, and certainly that never go through the issues that those are on the bottom. Okay, so those who have continue to benefit, and they get to buy assets and accumulate wealth because everybody else is struggling. So prices come down on certain items of investment; they can buy them, they can participate, whereas the average person can't, and of course, obviously, the lower end of the curve can't either. So it's a problem. Okay, it's a problem that we continue to be masked, excuse me, and told how good the economy is when clearly it is not that good. Okay, tourism is down, hotels are down, everything is down. Excuse me, sorry. So, I mean, you're looking, and again, not that Germany is what happens here, but the German recession continues to deepen. They're losing jobs, they're losing investments, and they're under severe pressure. Okay. So I think you've now got, we have this EV bullshit. Okay. And again, I'm not a believer in climate change. If you are, hey, I don't hold it against you, but electricity is not the answer. Okay. Electric cars are not the answer. The answer is uranium and nuclear power. Okay. You want to fix it, fix it. Okay. But Ford's going to drop the F-150 Lightning. Okay. Which again, that's their big electric vehicle, their aluminum truck. Um, Cost cutting its jobs in October, they have surged to the highest level in 20 years. Now, again, we keep saying, now again, the markets continue to tick higher. Um, but at the end of the day, don't you think that at some point that has to come to an end? Okay. Again, you can only mask and put a band-aid on a situation for so long. Okay. And worst of all, okay, this Affordable Care Act, this shutdown in government. Look, I don't know who's right. I know that Obamacare sucks. I know that the Affordable Care Act does not benefit the average American. It benefits illegals more than it benefits Americans. Okay. I'm sure there's a better answer to a healthcare situation. Obviously, I don't have it. I wish I did. But I think I know that I'm tired. of paying the tab for illegal aliens or illegal immigrants. I don't know if you are or not, but I certainly am, and I'm not happy that everything is being determined because of what of having illegals. Okay, I can't handle the sanctuary cities. I can't handle the fighting with ICE. People are not supposed to be here. And just full disclosure and full understanding, these policies and these laws were put in under President Obama. Okay. So I guess the new Democrats just don't want to enforce the laws. Okay. Uh, Bitcoin rebounds a little bit, dip. We'll talk about that more in our, our market report, but got into bear market territory. Consumer sentiment slides to the lowest level almost on record. Okay. Again, we can continue to mask and band-aid. We continue to be told how good everything is when truthfully it's not. Okay. A small business is being destroyed. Okay. The Richmond Fed survey told us that, but do we need them to tell us that? Look, the bottom line is if you're a small business, your costs of doing business are higher to begin with. You do not have the same buying power as as bigger companies, as bigger business. You don't have that. You have to usually pay higher payroll to attract the employees. So there's a lot of things to being, but basically, the Biden administration before had wiped out the opportunity in small business. Okay. And of course, the banking system and the Federal Reserve, which we'll talk about in our commentary, but they've wiped out small business because they don't get the benefit of lower interest rates. Again, there's a whole big mix and mess to all of this. But at the end of the day, everything is put in place to destroy the small business, which is why you see the continued collapse of these mini malls, and you keep seeing, the Walmarts and the Costco's and the Sam's Clubs and the big chains going up. I mean, when's the last time you saw the local grocery store? When's the last time you saw the local drugstore? When's the last time you saw a small? Again, it just doesn't happen anymore because they cannot compete. It's very bad, and of course, now government wants to continue to. We're now into this digital ID and digital currency. So they want you to have no freedom. Okay. They don't want you to have any chance to do anything on your own without anybody knowing. And again, I'm not a fan. Okay. I'm not a fan of having my privacy stolen. I'm not a fan. Isn't it enough? If you go back a few years, before all this bullshit technology and before all this AI crap, okay, which is, by the way, Michael Burry from The Big Short is shorting those names now. But before all this crap, okay, did we have to worry about our IDs being stolen? Did we have to worry about people taking our houses away, stealing our money? There was other things to worry about. But the more the technology gets, the more the criminals get a chance, and the more we have to put our stuff on electronically, the less privacy we have. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of giving up my privacy. Okay. And I think that, again, I'm not a fan of digital ID. I'm not a fan that U.S. customers, consumers are at record levels of debt, record lows of consumer sentiment, and we're losing jobs like crazy. To me, it's an ugly picture. That's the way that I see it. And this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday. It is November the 9th, and we're going to step out of a break. We'll be back with our market report right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. What's up, kids? What's going on? And of course, hey, we have sponsors for the program, and they are brokerage partners. So again, full disclosure, I do have other brokers. I just want you to be aware, but I do prefer these brokers as the best for my members. And of course, one would be TRADIER Brokerage. And again, but here's the bottom line: it's $10 a month. Saves me over $100,000 a year in commission. They are fully functional with all of our automation and automated programs. So again, $10 a month. I can't believe that anybody could possibly pass that up. But TRADIER Brokerage, check them out. They're on our website. And of course, Capital Trading Group, which for futures and commodities. Again, the greatest customer service, very fair in price, and great people to work with. Check them out, Capital Trading Group, CTG, and of course, the Joy of Mom, which we just launched the app. And do me a favor and go check out the app. Again, it's free right now, and I just want you to get an idea and see what it is. But it's a great site and a great application for moms, but it's great for everybody. And there's going to be a whole financial literacy programs there, a lot of good stuff. Check it out, The Joy of Mom. And of course, our high school program, which we continue to try to educate our children. In the meantime, let's get back to Buzz Bottom Line and our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November the 9th, and here we are. And markets, kind of a mishy-mashy week. On Friday, they were getting clobbered before they had a strong rally at the end. But for the week, down a little bit, but nothing dramatic. I mean, we had some big up day, big down day, big up day, and then, of course, Friday looked like they were going to collapse and came charging back at the end of the day. Bitcoin hit into a bear market for a short while, which is down 20%. I think there's a lot more problems out there than anybody's really letting on to. This is always a story. It was no different in 2008. There was a lot of things leading up to 2008 that indicated that crash was coming. The same thing happened in 2001, and the same thing happened in 1987, plus, many times in between. But of course, we continue to ignore, we continue to put our head in the sand. And of course, the control is the control, and we'll see what happens. Hey, listen, I'm not predicting anything. Certainly, seasonally, we're in a bullish period, but of course, we all do remember Black Christmas of 2018. Look, I think, to me personally, I don't like the whole situation right now. We could get a rally, but we'll see if we can take out the highs. In the meantime, as we look at the markets, the major indices were kind of mixed for the week. We were flat all week. We will be actually getting long tonight or tomorrow, the S&P and the Dow. Again, that's just a mathematical thing. That's not, that's why we don't trade with our opinion. We trade with the indicators and math that we use. The dollar, we don't trade it, but we would be short it if it was here. Euro currency, we are flat. Bonds and notes, again, interesting how the Fed cuts rates and bonds and notes continue to go down, which means interest rates are continuing to go up. Okay, we have no position in Bitcoin. We're long. Had a nice little bounce on Friday after being almost thrashed, but again, almost got into a bear market. It did get into a bear market and came back. The metals, we have no position, but gold, silver, and platinum are now hovering around in a consolidating pattern. Looking to break either way. I would expect to see maybe a little bit more down before anything else. Copper continues to charge up, but is back below the $5 level. We have no position. The grains look really good. Now we're short wheat and beans. Okay. And only because they were very overbought, and I would assume that a little bit lower, we've made some money there, but a little bit lower, we'll be able to cover and reverse. And that's what I'd be looking for, a little bit more selling before reversing. I believe that you've seen the tops in cattle and the bottoms in hogs. I think that looks just playing out pretty much as we've scripted it here. And of course, natural gas for the week was lower. Okay, it had a nice little rally, which we actually sold into. Okay, ended up higher for the week, but we actually sold into the rally. And of course, crude oil continues to consolidate. We're still long. At the end of the day, I think crude oil is weak. I think the economy is weak. Again, that my opinion. That's no surprise. It doesn't mean that the markets are going to go down. I want you to always remember that you trade the tape of the market and the chart. You don't trade your opinion and what you think. I think that's a mistake made by too many. In the meantime, as you look at the overall outlook, you are in a seasonally bullish time of year. Basically, from a trader standpoint, you've got about 5 weeks left in the year, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and then, of course, the 3 weeks before the December expiration. So be careful. And again, there's not much volume, so I would be very, very careful and ready to go. In the meantime, again, we're not going to make any predictions. Just look for high probability setups and try to take advantage of those. And of course, we give a lot of those out on our Saturday morning call. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November 9th. We're going to step out for a break and come back with our commentary right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, just a quick reminder. Sponsors are on the bottom and the sides. TRADIER Brokerage, Capital Trading Group, The Joy of Mom, and of course our high school program. And let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course our commentary right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday. It is November the 9th. And of course, at the end of the day, you know, I always give you my opinion, my commentary. And I don't know about you, but I am so sick and tired of the fucking Federal Reserve. Okay. They need to be ended. But of course, that's not going to happen. But at the end of the day, okay, why are they out every single day talking and talking out of both sides of their mouth? Okay. If you believe that the rate cuts are a benefit to you, then you're out of your mind, because you can see that for the last 2 weeks since they cut rates, well, 10 days, the 10-year notes have done nothing but go higher. Okay. Mortgage rates have not come down, if they've come down at all, enough to make it up. So all they've done, all the Federal Reserve has done, which is the leader of the cartel of the banking system, okay, all they've really done is allowed the banks to make more money. Now, I think that, you know, in a true free market system, we wouldn't have these issues. But when you allow the Fed to continue to manipulate and print more money or create more money, all that really does is make your costs it costs you more and you're making less. That is not a good situation. You can say, hey, I'm doing great. I'm making 200 grand a year. Well, if you're making 200 grand a year and living in New York or California, then you're living in poverty. Okay. Again, it's not the amount of money that you make, it is the amount of buying power that those dollars that you do make give you. And with what's going on and with what the Fed's done and with what the government's done together with the Fed, all they've done is create debt, which means that we, the taxpayer, are responsible to pay more money. And I think we're out of our fucking mind if we continue to support that type of spending, that type of process, and the Federal Reserve and else. I mean, they conned Woodrow Wilson to put the Fed in the first place. And again, it's a cartel. That's the way I see it. And this is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday. And for those who want my shitty football picks, well, again, what can I tell you? It's been a rough year, but we do like the Minnesota Vikings, and we do like the Seattle Seahawks, and we do like the Los Angeles Chargers. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy Veterans Day. And to all my veterans, I thank you. Happy Veterans Day, which is tomorrow. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you later. Take care.